Thank you. How is everyone doing this evening? Very good. Very good. First of all, I would like to start the evening off by wishing all of you a happy Indigenous Peoples Day. We are currently on the Cherokee and Yuchi people's land, and I do want to remind you all that no one is illegal on stolen land. Okay. Thank you. So my name is Katelyn Yarbrough. You can call me Kat. I currently sit on the Washington County Democratic Party's Executive Committee, and I represent District 9, which is Carver. That's my hood. Yes, Carver. And I am beyond excited to be back in the town of Jonesborough with all of you this evening. This town holds a very special place in my heart for too many reasons, actually. You may not know this, but my husband and I ran the historic 228-year-old historic inn down the street for many years. Thank you. And we made so many longtime friends here, and I actually got my first opportunity to volunteer and serve on a board or committee here in this town, which quickly, if you are from Jonesborough or are aware, it turns into many different boards and committees and many different organizations. That is the Jonesborough way. I acted, danced, and sang on stage at both the McKinney Center and also at the Jonesborough Repertory Theater, and I learned so much local history living here that is the part that I know I will never forget. There were so many forward thinkers here in this town, and there actually still are today. But I want to share with you a few of my favorite historical facts and stories. Let's start in 1842. Is anyone familiar with the Ford v. Ford case? Okay, thank you. So to refresh or get everyone caught up, Farmer Lloyd, his name is hard to say, Farmer Lloyd Ford Sr. decided to will the freedom of his slaves and parts of his land to those that he had enslaved. This was against his children's liking. So when he passed, his children actually argued in court that the slaves had no right to bring that will forward. This case went all the way to the state Supreme Court, and it resulted in the freeing of his slaves, and they ended up granting them the land that was bequeathed to them in that will. Longer, happier ending is that those families, both the black and white side of the Ford families, still meet together on that land and have family reunions. So that's a very good story. We could talk about the Warner Institute, which if that wall wasn't there, it is right on the hill, right behind you. That was the school for people that were manumitted from enslavement here in Jonesborough, and it was run by a woman named Julia Nelson. And I think we would all like Julia because she is quoted stating, "I do believe that a black heart is infinitely worse than black skin." And I agree with her. Or we could talk about Ella Russell. Is anyone familiar with Ella Russell? Okay, great, good. In 1896, she was a black woman that graduated from Howard Medical School, and she actually moved here to become an in-house nurse for someone, but she was the only hospital-trained nurse in East Tennessee for some time, and she actually treated both black and white patients. She was so successful and well-loved in the area that the person that she was the in-house nurse for willed his home to her in his passing, and she ended up selling that property. It was on Main Street. It was actually where The Emancipator was published years prior as well. But she sold that and moved back to DC. But that was a black woman in the late 1800s here in town. We could also, and should also, always talk about the Schubert Club. Do I have any Schubert Club members in here? Is anyone familiar with the Schubert Club? Okay, hello. Their purpose was to promote literacy and music education within the town. They later helped to form the town's first library and also provide a librarian. That ladies group is still active, and I was actually a member of it for many, many years, and they are a wonderful group of women here in town. Or we could talk about the women's suffrage movement and how in 1919, women here in Jonesborough and the surrounding areas packed out the old courthouse down the street to capacity just so that they could debate and eventually gain the right to vote in local elections the year before the 19th Amendment was ratified. This is all Jonesborough history. Or we could talk about Grace Hawes, the first woman to ever be elected mayor here in Jonesborough, and how she paved the way for future women leaders like Toby Bledsoe and Virginia Causey. They deserve a round of applause for sure. We could also discuss the Migrant March that came down Main Street in 2004 and showcased various flags of different countries. They marched down Main Street in celebration of their heritage and culture, and they were embraced and encouraged by their neighbors and local organizations. That was just like 21 years ago. That history is alive and well in Tennessee's oldest town, and very much so in my heart. And something that has always stood out to me in just a few of these stories that I obviously am biased and handpicked, is the undeniable presence of women's leadership. That's what makes Jonesborough the perfect place for someone like Jerri Green to grace this stage and let us help her make history.
Yes.
Jerri Green is a mother of three, a former public interest lawyer and senior policy advisor, and a current Memphis City Councilwoman, and she is running to be the next governor of Tennessee. She is the first Democrat to ever hold this seat and helped usher in the first female majority council by winning her runoff. She's a lifelong advocate for working families. She's raised wages for public employees, pioneered Tennessee's first free gun lock by mail program that cut gun thefts from cars by more than 20% in Shelby County. That's impressive. She expanded health care through free at-home HIV testing kits and added funding for Black midwives and championed youth mental health and pre-K expansion. That is, wow. She's a very impressive lady, and she's so nice. She was raised in Memphis, educated in Knoxville, go Vols, and beginning her career in Nashville, she would be the first known governor to have lived in all three grand divisions of the state. Jerri has a proven record of delivering bold, common sense solutions in the face of extremist leadership. I think we need that right now, don't you? Now she's stepping up to fight for Tennessee families, to fully fund public schools, expand access to health care, protect fundamental freedoms, and make history as Tennessee's first woman elected to governor. Now, if you all would please stand and give a big round of applause and welcome Jerri Green.